So, you love to travel, right? And you've probably had that thought. What if I could turn this passion into my actual job? It's an amazing dream, but it always comes with one big practical question. Well, today, we are going to tackle that question head on. How much cash do you really need to get this thing off the ground? I mean, if you've done any research, you've probably seen a bunch of numbers that are all over the place, right? It's a total head scratcher for a lot of people, but don't worry, we're about to make it all make sense. And here's why it's so confusing. You see numbers like this. Some people will tell you, oh, you can get started for $500, while others swear you need 15 grand or even more. And the crazy part? They're both kind of right. How is that possible? Well, it all comes down to one thing. That whole scary, intimidating price range, it actually gets super simple once you make one single, really important choice about how you want to run your show. The best part is, you are in the driver's seat for this decision. And that leads us right into our first section. You've got to choose your business path. This is way more than just about the money. It's about figuring out what kind of travel entrepreneur you really want to be. Okay, so you basically have three main roads you can go down. First up, you've got the home-based model. This is by far the most affordable way to get in the game. Then there's the franchise model. That's for someone who wants a business in a box, a proven system ready to go. And finally, you can go fully independent. Total freedom, but yeah, it's also the biggest investment. You can see the trade-offs right there. The cheaper you start, the more commission you share. The more you invest, the more control you get. Let's zoom in on that first option, because it's the most popular for a reason. For as little as $50 to $500, you can team up with what's called a host agency. Think of them as your business partner. They handle all the heavy lifting, the legal stuff, the supplier connections, the boring back-office tech. And in return, you split the commission you earn with them. It is, hands down, the lowest risk way to start. Now, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you've got these two heavyweights. Buying into a franchise gives you that instant brand name recognition and a step-by-step playbook, but you're going to pay some pretty serious franchise fees for it. Going fully independent means you build every single thing from the ground up. You have ultimate control for sure, but you also have the highest startup costs for all the legal stuff, insurance, and just getting your name out there. All right, so no matter which of those paths you pick, there are some costs that are just, well, they're universal. So for this next section, think of it like we're putting together your essential toolkit. This is the stuff that makes you a pro, not just a hobbyist. Every single serious travel agent has to budget for these 5 key areas. You need the right licenses to operate legally. You need professional training to actually know what you're talking about. You need the right tech to run your business. You absolutely need insurance to protect yourself. And of course, you need marketing to find people to sell travel to. These are your non-negotiables. So where does the money actually go in that first year? Well, take a look. The biggest slices of the pie are going to be training and education and your technology. And I think that's so important because it shows your biggest investment isn't in stuff. It's in yourself, in your own expertise and the tools that help you give amazing service. And this right here, this quote just nails it. This is the mindset that makes all the difference. Honestly, the line between the agents who make it and the ones who don't often comes down to this. When you invest properly in these core areas, you're telling yourself and the world that you are building a real business. Okay, so we've covered the big, obvious expenses. But what about the sneaky ones? The little costs that can creep up and wreck your budget. In this section, let's talk about those hidden costs and, even better, how to be smart and save some money. So let's look at some common budget busters versus the smart ways around them. You got to plan for things like ongoing training, because this industry is always changing, and even little things like taking a client out for coffee. And your tech will eventually need an upgrade. But there's always a solution. You can start with free software, invest in the fancy tools only when you start making money, and remember that home-based model is the #1 way to keep those overheads super low.
Quick break. If you've ever dreamed about becoming a travel agent but didn't know where to start, I've got something just for you. I created a complete step-by-step guide teaching how to become a travel agent, step by step. Inside, you'll learn exactly how to start from scratch, what tools you need, and how to actually make money helping people book their dream vacations. It's easy, clear, and designed for beginners who are serious about turning travel into a career. The best part? You can grab it right now. Link is in the description below. So if you're ready to stop dreaming and start building your future as a travel agent, check it out today.
Now, we have to clear up a huge misconception about something called fam trips. Yes, these are incredible discounted trips where you get to go experience hotels and destinations firsthand. But let me be super clear, they are not free vacations. They are a critical business investment in your knowledge. You still have to pay for your flights, some meals, and your time. So you absolutely have to budget for these as part of your education. All right, we've talked a lot about the costs, about the money going out. Let's get to the fun part, the payoff. How does all this initial investment turn into a real sustainable career? Look, your first year is all about building that foundation. You're learning, you're finding your first clients, so the income is going to be modest. But then, as you head into years 2 and 3, things start to click. Your client list grows, referrals start coming in, and so does your income. And then, by year 4 and beyond, if you've built a great reputation, you could be earning a really, really healthy income. So, you want to get to that higher income bracket faster? Of course you do. Well, here's how. These are the 4 big accelerators. Find a niche, like luxury safaris or destination weddings, and become the go-to expert. Get really good at marketing yourself. Give customer service that makes people rave about you. And never, ever stop learning. So, after looking at everything, what's a real-world practical number to have in your head? Here it is. While you can technically start for less than $1,000, the reality is that most agents who go on to build a truly successful business invest somewhere in this range, $2,000 to $8,000, in that critical first year. That's what it takes to cover the right training, the right tech, and the right marketing to really get off to a strong start. So there you have it, a clear, no-nonsense picture of what it really takes to get started. The path from just having a passion to building a profession is laid out. So the only question left is the one right there on the screen. Now that you know the costs, what's your first step going to be?